So the biggest and most distressing symptom of menopause for me, this is like the true confessions part, it was like the plummeting libido. I'm guessing it was actually in my early 40s when I suddenly developed an insane bout of insomnia that went on for like weeks and weeks, and I could barely sleep. And I didn't know why. There was no particular reason why. I think that was probably, distant early warning signals. But the sleep thing was a sort of an ongoing and increasing thing. And then in my late 40s, so a bunch of circumstances in my life kind of went south. I had gone back to school. I had finished grad school. I was having a lot of trouble finding work. And then the guy that I'd been seeing for a couple of years, and he had just proposed to me, and then 3 weeks later he broke up. And so like a lot of things, and I was a little bit broke, and so a lot of things were going south in my life. And that would have been normally, cause for being very upset and unsettled and everything. But what with one thing and another, I plunged into a really deep depression, like a clinical depression that was kind of on and off for about 2 years. And I've never suffered from that kind of a depression before or since. So in hindsight, given the fact that I was about 52 or 53 when menopause really hit, like basically when I stopped getting my periods. And when all of this stuff happened, it was sort of between 48 and 50. And I'm thinking that probably that it was a factor in the depression. I'm pretty sure it was, because I don't know why I would have plunged so deep otherwise. I mean, I've had setbacks in my life, and they throw me off, but they didn't throw me into like, I need antidepressants and I'm crying all the time and I have no personality left. Well, I had a good therapist. Eventually the antidepressants, I found the right one and it helped, but it took a while before I found the right one. So there were others that did not do any good for me. And I had a lot of emotional support. My mom was really supportive. My friends were really supportive. So a lot of things, I had all the things in place. I thought I was in menopause, and then I didn't have my period for a year. I figured, okay, it's over. And then I was sitting in a cafe with a girlfriend of mine, and I was like, I'm having this weird feeling, feels like I'm getting my period, which is really weird because I haven't had it in a year. So I went to the bathroom, and lo and behold, that was the last gasp. But by and large, I feel emotionally fine, physically good. As I said, I didn't really go the hot flush route. I had sort of low-grade anxiety attacks for a few years, and I would recognize the symptoms of an anxiety attack. So just before I would get like a moment of anxiety, I would feel not exactly a hot flash, but I would just feel warm, like sort of a little bit warm. And it felt like the floor was like opening up beneath me. And I thought, oh, here we go. So I would put my feet firmly on the ground, breathe deeply, and then 15 seconds later, I would get the anxiety attack, and it would last about 20 seconds and it would go away. So it was really weird. So the biggest and most distressing symptom of menopause for me, this is like the true confessions part, it was like the plummeting libido, which is like, excuse me? This is completely unfair. All those years that I was like, with a perfectly normal, healthy sex drive and no partner. And now in the last 10 years ago, I met this guy who's like wonderful and we're together and he's the best, partner I've ever had in my life and everything. And I really want to have a good, nice, normal, healthy sex drive, and I don't anymore. And that pisses me off no end. Some of my girlfriends have said, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to scratch that itch anymore. It's like, it's such a relief. And I'm like, not a relief. I'm mad. I feel like it's unfair. It's really unfair. And I feel like it's unfair that I was going through menopause when they thought that hormone replacement therapy was dangerous. Because, of course, I never got any. And now they're like, no, it wasn't dangerous, any more dangerous than any other thing. And in fact, in some cases, it's more beneficial and you could have blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, great, thanks for telling me too late. Because now I'm too old for it. Oh, sure. I mean, I went to the sex clinic at UBC and everything. We did everything. Tried all the things.
And it didn't help?
No, unfortunately, there's nothing like Cialis for women. Just doesn't, you know, you can have like estrogen creams and things like that and whatnot, but nothing. They tried this thing called DHEA, didn't help. Nothing really helped, you know. So you basically just, you know, I mean, it's not like it's dead. It's just kind of very low grade. I mean, I can be aroused, but it takes a lot more work than it used to, and the payoff is a lot less, shall we say? You know, the big O is a little O, and penetration's impossible. Can't do that. Too painful, too dry. Even with estrogen cream, too painful. I mean, fortunately, there's other things you can do, but that one has been a no-go for a few years. You know, there's this song, I'm thinking about this song by Annie Lennox, which is, I think it's an old song that she revisited, you know, and it goes, keep young and beautiful, it's your duty to be beautiful, keep young and beautiful, if you want to be loved, and it goes on, and it's sort of boop-de-doo, you know, it's probably from the 20s, and it's like, that's the idea, keep young and beautiful if you want to be loved. I mean, I color my hair, you know, we watch our figure, we're expected to be sort of sex goddesses until we die, you know, and then this whole thing about, like, you know, as I said, Martha Stewart, you know, on Sports Illustrated, she's 81 years old and they're showing all these photos of her in a bathing suit looking pretty lush and I'm sure pretty photoshopped. And I'm sure she's also wealthy enough to have had lots of expensive plastic surgery, which most of us can't afford. And why should we even? So, you know, so you're supposed to also be like a sex goddess until you, I don't know, until forever, you know. I mean, he's fine. He's 76, so he's got his own issues. Maybe we shouldn't put that in the video. But you know, he's very accommodating, shall we say? You know, and plus we have we have a lot of fun. He's very affectionate. I'm very affectionate. You know, there's lots of other things that we can do. And it's not like there's no sex. It's just that it's not like hot and heavy. You know, it's not like in my heyday, shall I say, you know, and then you feel like, oh my God, am I the only person? You know, and this is why I want to talk about this stuff and why I'm willing to talk about this stuff the same way I was willing to talk about my depression, because we don't talk about these things. And then people who are going through this stuff feel crazier than they are, you know, because it's like, I must be the only one. Everybody else seems to be doing just fine. Well, sure, because we present our carefully curated selves to the world and in social media and in the, you know, I remember on a different note, talking to a friend of mine during sort of the deep days of COVID when we were all freaked out. And she's this person who presents a very professional, very, very extremely competent, and she is highly professional and highly competent and very productive and all this. And she presents to the world. And she said she was going through such anxiety and she was just feeling like such a flop. And I said, you know, like, how would I ever, you know, like, you certainly don't present that way. And she said, I don't have the nerve to, to like, show who I am in public. So the best thing about aging is that you basically don't care so much about how people perceive you. And that is a relief. It's like, basically, well, if you don't like me the way I am, I'm really not going to change an awful lot. I might alter my behavior if you tell me that my behavior is offensive. Then I'll say, oh, okay, but I'm not going to change who I am. I am who I am, kind of like Popeye, you know. And I'm quite good with that. I actually like myself quite well. And if somebody doesn't like me, well, guess what? Lots of people do, so I don't have to worry about that person who doesn't like me. It's okay. If you don't like my opinions or my points of view, then go hang out with somebody else. Liberating, you know, to not care so much about what people think about you. I remember one time being in a little intergenerational dialogue group, and I was only in my late 50s at that time, and there was a young woman in her, I guess, 20s, and she said she was looking forward to being older, like in her 50s, so when she'd have everything all figured out. And I said, oh, I hate to rain on your parade, but you never actually do get it all figured out. And she's like, really? I said, no, you get a few things figured out and then some new things crop up. So it's kind of an ongoing thing. Like, we're always a work in progress, you know, but maybe it's less, it's definitely less unsettling. You know, I was a lot more anxious when I was younger, you know. I have more equilibrium now. And I hear a lot of older people saying that. There's an organization called Road Scholar, ROAD. It used to be called Elder Hostel, and it's traveling for, they organize travel for seniors and stuff. And their tagline is, when's the last time you did something for the first time? And my partner and I decided that was a really good tagline. Like, when is the last time you did something for the first time? Have we just done something for the first time? Good. We should be doing more things for the first time than for the last time. I guess my biggest piece of wisdom is keep learning and keep all the doors open. Stay curious, life is interesting. Life is also a mess. The world is a mess, but it's also a beautiful place.
Thanks for watching this episode. For more menopause stories like this, subscribe below. And don't forget to click the bell so you are notified when we drop a new episode. Did you connect with this story? Let us know by adding your comment and by sharing and liking it. Shared storytelling helps us learn what's happening to our bodies and reminds us we are not alone.